Let's see. Hopefully we're live. Give it a few seconds for it to pop open. Make sure it says we're live. I'll just double check the stream is up and running. Yeah, we're live. Okay, so this video, or should I say this live stream, I'll be creating this toggle switch. So a toggle switch. So I'm going to be going through the whole process of modeling, texturing, making it interactive, and something simple, but hopefully it won't take us too long. So let's get started. Let's start with something like this, something nice. There's a load of toggle switches. You can choose whatever you want to model, and I'm going to start with this one here. Now I have an empty project folder, and it's just called toggle. This way I'm going to save all my model and assets and files for when we create this object here. So I'm going to put my reference image over here. Let's get started and jump in. So let's go to Blender first. We need to create our model. Now there might be a few preferences and like differences you might need to turn on if you don't have these, such as like extra curves or extra objects, extra curves, extra mesh. What else can I think of? The Wrangler node, Wrangler. That's very useful in doing your materials. And there's a few other things. We'll not come across it. I'll point it out. Anyway, let's get started. Just delete everything in this scene. Now, if you haven't used Blender before, it's great open source software, free. You can make some amazing models and scenes and animations. Anyway, we're going to go mesh. We're going to say, let's start with the circle. So we're going to create, what I'm going to do is, let's create this plate first. So I can see, create this plate and then we'll build up and then, from that. So we've got this kind of circle, and let's look at it from above. Let's go into edit mode, so up here in the top left, and I want to select this middle section here, and I want to scale this out like so. So this will give us that plate. Now looks very low poly, right? Which is fine. We can add more subdivisions. It's more we can subdivide this, so we can say subdivide, add some more, and then what I'll do is just select the middle, so these middle vertices on both sides, and then I'll just say something like smooth the vertices. So where's smooth vertices? There we go. Now that's smoothing it out. So now we've got that nice plate shape, really simple. And then if I go select all, A, and then just F to fill, now we have a mesh. There we go. So we have a plate. Now we do want to add some depth to this, so let's just add a solidify modifier to it. Generate, solidify, add some thickness to this plate. Alright. And we also want to add a bevel to this. We don't want a sharp edge. You can choose to have a sharp edge if you want, but I'll say something like 3, and just tighten that. Now if I right click, shade smooth by angle, that looks fine. I'll keep it like that. That looks okay. So we've got that pretty straightforward. Now we need this kind of bolt that kind of sits on top. Mesh, cylinder. We're going to bring this down to like, I think 8 or 6. How many have they got there? They have 1, 2, 6. Okay, we're going to use 6. So they've got 6 on this image, this reference image. Now we're just going to scale this down. I'll scale on the Z here. Position this up. So I'm going to go to the side view and move this up so it sits on top of the plate. And of course I want to rotate this round. So if I just pop out this side menu here, I can say items, and then I can actually just dial in to 30. Now that's facing the right way. This is a little bit too big, so I'm going to scale it in again. Something like this. Looking at the reference image. And let's bring this down. There we go, so it's nice and flush. Now I want to apply the modifiers to this. So I want to apply the scale and transformation. So Control A, apply scale. So now you can see the scales all at 1, 1, 1. At the end of the when we complete the model, we'll apply all the transformations once we're finished. But for now, let's just sort this out. Let's add a modifier to this. Another bevel. This one really tiny. Say 2. There we go. Just so it can catch a bit of light. You know, it's not sharp. Nothing's perfectly sharp. Now you can choose to add a hole in there, but I mean we're not going to really notice it. I mean, let's just add it. I'll just be. Nah, I mean, we don't need it. We don't really need the hole because we're going to cover it up anyway. So skip that and let's just go to curve. There's certain things you don't really need to. You can model all that detail in, but if you're not moving it and it's a lot, you can't see it. So with the extra nodes, I'm going to go here, curve spiral, and then choose this one. And we can increase the number of turns, and then the height, of course. We got something like this. Maybe we got too many turns. Maybe something like that. Let's bring in that radius so it sits on top of, it sits within our thing. So let's bring that radius out. Like that. Let's bring down the turns, number of turns. Tighten this up a tiny bit. That should be alright. I'll let that sit inside the plate. Now if I go into the curves option here and then go to the geometry tab, we're going to add some depth. There we go. Now we've got this kind of, you know, shape. We want to close this gap, so just say fill gap. And then pretty sorted there. Pretty easy. While we're here, while we're doing each part, we might as well. Should we? Oh no, we can do it at the end. We'll do the UV mapping at the end. Okay, so next part, we need a little plate to just cover this. It's just pretty straightforward. We just get a mesh. We can just use a cylinder. And let's put this back up to 32. The default is 32. And then we'll just scale it up. Boom. Scale it up. Move it. Scale it down. Move it up. Sorry, I want it sitting just slightly up over that edge. There we go. Really simple, nothing too exciting. I'm going to delete the faces on this. I'm going to edit mode. I'm going to delete this face. Alright, we'll add it back in after. I want to delete that face down here. Or do I? Now I want to keep that face, but let's inset this face on the bottom. Like this, and then just delete that face there. There we go. And then what I can do is select this top edge, and I can just press E to extrude, S to scale in, and you know, we can bring this in. We can adjust this, so I'll leave this as it is. So we'll adjust that. Let's add a little bevel to this edge here and this edge, and also let's say shade smooth by angle. But then now we're going to select this edge here and this edge, and let's say bevel edge. Now the bevel edge ain't going to work properly because I have to apply the scale. So Control A, apply scale transformation. Now when I go to bevel it, you see now the bevel looks a lot better. I just want a tiny bit. Let's take a look, zoom in. I like to turn off the sharp. I know this is a new thing, but I don't like it. It kind of stops me from seeing what's going on with the model, the blue. Anyway, so that's very small, but you can see. Don't worry, we'll fix this. So in here will be the toggle, the main part that we're going to interact with. So what we can do is start with a mesh, and let's use a UV sphere. We'll model the stick out of this. Pretty straightforward. What we can do is we're going to scale this down, and this kind of going to sit inside here. So the reason we left this kind of open, now we can adjust this. You know, we can select this loop and we can kind of adjust this and tighten this around it, you know, after. But first, let's sort this out. Let's position this so this kind of looks okay. And then all I want to do is delete these top faces over here. So I'm going to go to edit mode. I'm going to select this top face. So if I take a look from above, just click off and then select this center. So I'll just drag and select that. Now if I hold Control and plus on my keyboard, I can grow that selection and delete these faces. Okay, I want to select this edge loop here that we've got, and then what we're going to do is extrude up. So we're going to press E and extrude up. Okay, and then we're going to just scale out. So it's going to go out. That's all we need to do. Right. And then we're going to get another sphere and just kind of put it on the end. So we're going to as a cap. So you can kind of shape this how you want, make it as long as you want. I feel that's a good size. Now, as long as we keep the new sphere that's going to sit on the top the same amount on the topology, so we know this is default, we set it to 32, so they should match up. And we should be able to connect them. So we're going to go mesh, we're going to add another UV sphere, leave it at 32, just move it up and scale it. Go into the side view here, go into X-ray mode so you can see better. What you want to do is kind of go probably halfway, maybe less than halfway. Let's go somewhere here. Let's turn the wireframe so it's easier. Let's match up here, something like this. This can be the top of our toggle switch. Then we can delete all these faces below. So edit mode, faces, and just delete all of that. Boop. I can see because the topology lines up nicely. What we can do now is select these two meshes and say join. Okay. However, you notice there is a gap. Don't worry, we fix that. So we're going to edit mode. We're going to vertices, and we're going to this side view. And what we're going to do is just select all these vertices, and what we're going to do is right click, and we want to say merge by distance. Okay, and you got this distance, and then as you drag this, you'll see they snap to the closest. So if I went too much, they're all kind of all collapse in on each other. So we don't want to do that. We just want them just to connect. Oop, there we go. That's one mesh. Okay, which is perfect. So I'm happy with that. Now we don't need all this mesh underneath. So I mean, if you want to be a bit more, you know, we can clean this up and say, okay, well, we don't need all of this, so we can kind of delete. Actually, delete from here, something like this. There we go. So you don't really need all that mesh down there. And pretty much got our toggle switch built. Let's turn this X-ray off. So you can kind of shape this more if you want. Entirely up to you. If I go in here, you know, maybe I want to scale this out a tiny bit. Scale this in. Maybe here is too hard. So let's select this edge loop here. Let's add a bevel. And just kind of smoothing that out a tiny bit. Something like that. That looks okay. So you get this nice kind of smooth transition here. Alright. Next on this shade smooth angle. Now you can say keep sharp edges or what. It doesn't matter for that. This looks alright. Now we just need this little, they have a little copper plate and then this little plastic box that comes out. So we're going to just add a mesh, and we can just use a cube. Bring this down. Boop. You can go to the side view if you wanna make sure it lines up correctly. Kind of just place it there, and I'll just scale this to the right side so it slightly sits over. So this, you got some edges over here, and let's take a look from above. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. What I'm gonna do is I can actually split this here and just have two, like just add a partition in the middle. Might be easier. Let's keep it like this. So what we're gonna do is just edit mode. Let's select these edges. Boom, boom, boom. We want to bevel them because they are nice and beveled. But before we do that, Control A, go back into object mode, Control A, apply that transformation. Then you can go back into edit mode. So the shortcut tab allows you to switch between. You can see here, or you can go up here and switch. Over time you'll learn shortcuts. I'm still learning shortcuts, but yeah, there we go. So we can just bevel this a little. Doesn't need to be much. And we want to increase those segments. There we go. Okay, and then of course shade smooth by angle. Now we want to like just add a split in here. So let's just use this slice and this slice it here. And then what I'm going to do with that selection there, I'm going to add a bevel edge. But this time I'm going to say, okay, it's only one. Okay, and you can change that width there. So then this will just give us the, the two separate plates. And what I'll do is I'll just inset this along the normals, so extrude along the normals inwards, like so. Or you can press S and scale that. But no, probably along the normals is better. There we go, something like that. Now, if you get this weird normals, don't worry, right click, shade smooth again. And then that fixes that. Now if you do want to bevel this edge, you feel free to do that, or maybe this edge here. So if you want to select this edge loop here and say, bevel edge, and let's just offset that so it's a little bit round. There we go. Cool. So I think we're in a good position to start, putting materials on this and setting this up, fixing our UVs and stuff, so we can take this into substance. But yeah, we have a toggle switch, hopefully. Actually, I've just noticed. Wait, have I? Is this hanging? Is there space in between this gap? There is a space. Okay, so there is a spacer. So there's an additional space here. So if I move this and this and this and this, and we move it up, let's see, tiny bit. Well, I'll just reuse this cylinder that we created here, this ring, and then just kind of place it down here. That can sit inside, and then I'll just move. Oh, make sure you copy and paste. So Control C, Control V, and I can move this down here because I didn't notice this was floating. Well, there we go. There we go. Nice. And then also there's an additional plate. Actually, this is not a plate. This is just a smaller plate. So let's bring this down. So we've got this. There's another plate, a smaller plate under this. Okay, so just add another cube. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to the image. I mean, we don't have to be 100%. We don't have to create. You can design this however you want. It could be anything. But let's scale this up. Let's take a look from above. So let's say it's like this. It looks like it comes to the edge like that. And that looks right. And I'm just going to Control A, apply scale, edit, and let's bevel these edges. So boom, 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 boom. Nice rounded corners. Increase the segments. There we go. And Shade by smooth angled, boom. Cool. So I think I'm happy with that. And we're ready to go to the next section. So as you can see here, you know, we've got a switch. We can move this around. Now this here, actually I don't want to see the inside of that, so I do want to adjust this now, because now we know what our switch is going to look like, so the size of it, so we can just bring this in. I'll just bring this down. There we go. And then I'll just scale it out again so it goes outwards. Like so. Shade smooth. And then I'll probably bevel this edge. Just bevel this edge, inner edge here. Bevel edge. Let's say, I don't mind it being the big bevel like that. Doesn't look too bad. Shade by smooth angle, there we go. Oh, that looks okay. There we go. So we have a switch. So let's go to the next part. Let's start UV mapping this. Make sure you save your project. So I'm going to make sure I save this in this toggle folder. Toggle, and call this toggle. So save your scene in case it crashes. You never know. Anything can crash these days. Okay, let's start UV mapping this. So we need to mark some seams on these objects and stuff like this. So maybe we'll do one. We hide these objects and we just do one at a time. So it's a lot easier for us to start doing that. Quickest way, boom. I can think of. Oh, we need to apply modifier because this. Apply the modifier first. Boop, boop. Now we've got this mesh that we can use. So I want to select these two faces. I'm gonna just right click, vertical split. I'm gonna change this window to my UV editor, like so. If I look at it from above and say UV project from view, there we go. Now we've got those two faces. And then I want to mark a seam. So if I mark a seam here, maybe I can, let's see. I want to mark those as seams as well. So actually I should have done that, mark a seam. But then I want to just mark a seam here. Maybe I'll mark a seam on these caps right here. Let's see. I don't know if I can get away with that. If I split it there, here, is it selecting that one? Yeah. Let's see. I might get away with it. Hey, hello Alpha. P Chappy, Papa Chappy. Hello, thank you. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, and sometimes I go a bit too slow. You know, some of my videos are a bit long-winded. But yeah, I'm gonna just mark some seams on these. I think I'm being a bit extra, but I just want. Let's add UV mark seam. So if I just go here, a UV unwrap, unwrap. What? Is it not doing it? A UV unwrap. Why is it not unwrapping? Or is it really small? It's so small. What is going on? Average islands. Wow. Why is that so small? That's weird. A. Okay, let's do this the other way then. Let's just do a UV. Sorry, smart project. Okay, now we've got the piece. I don't know why it was so tiny over there. But now if I do a UV, does it unwrap? I don't know. I don't know, honestly. Anyway, let's pack this. So let's just say UV, average islands. Let's say pack islands. We don't want to rotate. There we go. So that's kind of should be done. It's not the best, probably not the best way to do that, but it's okay. Might get away with that. If not, we can come back and fix it. Next one. Let's go to the next one. Boom. Box should be straightforward. I'll just do auto UV here. Okay. Unwrap. Or actually, I can go. Maybe we should mark some seams. I think we should mark some seams. Let's say select. Let's say just say select sharp edges, mark as seams, and then we do the unwrap. Why is it not unwrapping? Am I doing something wrong? Oh, sorry. Unwrap. There we go. Okay. I have to do it in this window instead of this window? Is that what I'm doing wrong? This doesn't look right. There we go. Let's say pack islands. There we go. So we got two parts. And what's the next one? This is the same. This we can just do boom. UV. Let's just do smart project. Boom. That'll do. Next one. Did I have a modifier on that? No, that's fine. This I'm just gonna apply the modifier. Tab A. Looks okay, but I'll just do smart. I'll have to do it in this window. Hey, keep on forgetting. Yeah. A UV average islands. There we go. Next one. Oh, no, sorry, it's taking a bit. It's a bit long-winded, you know. But you can go. Select sharp edges. UV, market seams, a UV unwrap. I feel that maybe I should mark a seam here. Maybe I should split it into two or one. Nah, one's pretty fine. Let's split into two. Let's split into two. A UV unwrap. There we go. That's probably better. Average islands and pack the island. Hopefully it works. I'm hoping anyway. We'll see. We're nearly done. Let's do this one. This one's, oh my god. Let's just split it. Let's mark this as a seam. Let's say this is a seam here. Or do we want? Let's say here. It's a seam, and then let's just do down the side. I might be doing this the worst UVs, but there we go. UV unwrap. Yeah, let's open this up because this is terrible. Sorry. UV. Let's mark a seam there. Would that be better? I don't know. Let's see. A little bit better. Not the best, but it's still okay. Let's say average island and back island. Okay. And what's the last object? This spiral. we're gonna need to convert this to a mesh. Now if you want to increase that tessellation, you can, because you can see kind of, you know, it's a bit low poly, but I mean, we don't, it doesn't matter too much, but you can increase that resolution. Yeah, that's alright. Anyway, right click, convert to mesh. Yeah, and then if I go A, this is what it looks like. It's not gonna work, is it? So I'll just turn all of these objects off so I can see this better. Oh my god, the cap is like this. Let's say select. Let's click select. Sharp edges, which should select that for me. Where is it? No, it did not. I was hoping it would have selected that ring for me, but okay. Mark seam. On to the inside, like so. UV mark seam. A UV unwrap. That looks okay. Then we've got those caps that don't matter really. That's fine. Let us go to, so now we have all the objects. Boom, 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 boom. What I want to do is actually combine all of these objects, and then this one would be the only moving part that would be separate. But I think I'm alright with the UVs now. We'll see, we can come back to it if we need to. But let's collapse this. So I'm just going to say join, boom, go back to that. Okay. Let's put some materials in here so we can. So when we go into Substance Painter, we know what materials what. So just going to go here, new material. I'll just say that's toggle, and then you can make this kind of like a silverish. There we go. It doesn't matter too much. Don't worry about this too much. There we go. And then this, we want another material. I'll just call it silver this time. So we've got toggle and then we've got silver. And maybe I'll use this on more than one material. I will use it on more than one material. So like I'll apply it to this and this and this. So these three will all use the same material. And this. And then this is a different material. Let's call this gold. I'll make it kind of gold metallic. Bring that roughness down. There we go. This is a copper, and then this is like a plastic. So what I can do is actually select this face, top face here, Control Plus. And let's just expand that selection. There we go. New, assign that face, that material, so it should be, make it. Alright, we'll see in a second. Hopefully, let's say it's like this. Call this copper. Assign that. If I go select invert, just the opposite, and then assign a new material. Assign that. There we go. And this will be just the black plastic. There we go. So kind of got everything in place. Let's go to Substance now. So I need to open up my Steam because I bought Substance through Steam rather than subscription, which it would be nice if they did that for Photoshop and let you just buy it out and you own it rather than subscription based. But let's launch Substance anyway. Let's close this. You don't need all this pop-up stuff. What we want to do is export this as FBX. So make sure you save your work as well. FBX, toggle, export, I'm going to go here to substance, new. Then I'm going to leave this as metal and roughness. I'm going to select the file which will be under toggle. So we're going to go to our toggle folder. This will be the FBX. I'm going to change this to 2048. I'll leave it as DirectX. Make sure you have unchecked the auto unwrap because we've got our own UVs. Let's bring it in. Oh, so first thing I noticed, inverted normals. Great, that's a good thing. You know, we can go in here. I should have done that and checked here. So a good way to do is check face orientation, and you can see here my faces are not facing the right way. So tab. I'll just select the face, mesh, normals, and I'll just flip that. Same on this one. I can just go tab A, mesh, normals, flip, boom. And that looks fine now. That's how we want it. So we can just go re-export this, file export, FBX, overwrite that existing one. Now we don't have to go file new and re-import this. You can just go edit and then just say re-import mesh. So you don't have to redo that again. There we go. So that looks good here. Now the next thing we need to check is whether how good our UV maps are going to be. So let's bake this. So hit the little cross on. And you can choose the output size. So I'm going to say 2048 is fine. Now you can go in and change like all these settings if you want more rays for your ambient occlusion. You can tweak all of these settings. I'm not. It's not really a substance tutorial. I just go with the defaults. I just bump that up, it doesn't matter, but I'm just going to go bake and we'll see how these turn out. Okay, so I can already see there is an issue because these all share the same material and the UVs are all overlapping, so I already know that. So this is fine because this has got its own separate material, and this is fine. This here is not fine. So I can already see that. So if I return, you can see this is because it's one mesh, the silver mesh. So if I go here, because, and let's turn off the face orientation. So I'm kind of, these are all one object, really. It's seen as one object in substance. So what I'll do is just select these. Actually, I can do is just say join. Join. Tab A. I'll select all these UVs. Go into UV editing. I'm going to hit A. I'm going to go UV. Let's try this. Let's average the island scale. Then we're going to say UV. Pack islands. We don't want it to scale. Hit OK. Boom. No, that's not very good. Let's try the UV packer. It's a 2K pack. And to see that doesn't work. It's too small. That's not packing it to how we want. So what I might do is just assign these separate. Undo. Okay. Undo. Let's say right click. Let's right click. Let's separate these selections by loose parts. And let's just add another material. Let's so they're not so they're all separate pieces. I think that'll be easiest to avoid this clashing. So I'll just add a material there. Silver 2. That's silver. So we need another. Let's say another 2 more materials. Let's see if that. So that's at silver 2, silver. Let's do silver 3. Oh, new material. I'll just call that silver 3. And this one. Oop, silver 4. Hopefully this. Yeah. Hopefully that will solve the problem. Apologies. File, export, FBX, overwrite this. I'm going to hit save. Boom. Go back in here. Edit, re-import mesh. That's fine. That looks better. And then I'll just go toggle, So now we've got all those silver pieces. I guess each model, and let's just hit bake again. Alright, we can see that it's already looking a lot better. Oh, what we got here? We got issue here. Is this sharing that one? I can already see there's an issue. Let's just double check. What are we sharing with this? Is there something sharing with this one? Silver. No, that's not sharing with anything. That's toggle. What's wrong with this one? UVs. Oh yeah, if you haven't used UV Packer, that's free now. On it used to cost money. But now if you go IO UV Packer, is it called IO? Yeah, this one, 3D IO UV. It is now free. You know, it used to cost quite a bit. Now it's free, so it's great. And they have all the plugins for all the different softwares. Just in case you haven't seen that, that's recently. But why is this one messed up? I mean, is it messed up? Let's see. Turn to paint mode. It's okay. Actually, it's okay. I mean, here, I don't like this on this screw bit because it's the way it's colliding with it, but it's okay. Okay, I don't need to worry. I thought it looked wrong when there is something wrong with it, but it's fine. I'm being too picky. Okay, I'm being too picky now. Because this is supposed to be a short video. Not. Oh, I can see some weird artifact in here on the normals. If I just drop a material on there for now, just to see what it looks like. Is that a reflection, or that's just the normal? Maybe it's just the... That's fine. I'm being so extra, sorry. Anyway, let's go back. Hopefully the stream is still working. Then we can pick up that texture image. So this is gold, so not bronze. I just dropped it in there because it looked weird, but I'm going to add, go to material, change the environment, something like, I don't know, it can be whatever you like. I like to see my environment. There we go. And let's rotate this. There we go. Let's get something like this. Nah. Something like this. That looks nice. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so we want gold. Let's get damaged gold for this. So we're just dropping and dragging our smart materials. Pretty straightforward. So we're going to look for some steel. Let's get some steel. There's all kinds of steel. Let's drop in some steel in here. Maybe there's some scratch steel or some stained steel. Let's see how that looks. Stained steel or scratch steel? Scratch steel. Let's close this. Let's get rid of this. Oh. Scratch steel looks better. I don't mind having different there, and then just do scratch steel on this. We want copper, so can we search for copper? Copper. This is going to be copper. Oh, so this is copper. This is silver. Okay, so this is copper. Let's put this copper on. Yeah, and then let's go to this one here. Let's get rid of that. Oh. Sure, is aluminium. Aluminium. No. Rusted. Nope. Let's do this one. This one's okay. So all of this I don't need, so I'm gonna just delete these. There we go. This one here needs to be gold. So I'm gonna just type in gold. So this is the gold one here. Okay. And so we got gold, and then we need this toggle, which will be silver. Alright, silver or steel. Let's write steel. I keep on calling steel silver, but steel silver, same thing. Same. Let's do that. Oop. Let's put some color on there. So let's drop this stain, the paint, this steel paint on top. Okay. And I'm gonna put a. Let's get rid of that. Add smart masks. And let's just do surface wear on that. And it's just our contrast on here. That's a, this paint. There was paint there, and it's kind of gone. It doesn't need to be too much. Entirely up to. The only problem is I can see the seam here. I can see the seam, and I don't like that. I don't like it. Sorry, I'm being very picky. Very picky. Unless I do. That's right, paint. No. I'm gonna do a new layer. Boom, 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 boom. Pew, pew, pew. Something like this, combined with this. There we go. And sorry, and then let's change the color. And it's still like a red. Or should we leave it like orange? Kind of like orange. Okay, here we can change. We can tweak this. Yeah, looks okay. We need the plastic for this. Let's go plastic. Plastic. What we're gonna go for? And plastic rubber. We want plastic, like nice shiny plastic. Yeah, let's go nice shiny plastic. There we go. So we have a switch. Now let's add on and off, or lock and unlock, or whatever, whatever this, we can put some kind of thing here. So, need to find out which plate this is. So it's this one, silver 2. I should have named them what they were rather than just silver 1, silver 2. But I'm going to add a new layer here. I'm going to go to brushes. I'm going to go here, and we're going to find something that's we can use. We don't have an on and off. Unless you make one, you can make one, but I'm kind of being lazy, so I'm going to just do lock and unlock. Is there an unlock? Yeah, unlock. Let's do lock and unlock. And just make this big. And if I scroll down here, so lock, I want it to be green. I mean red. So it's locked. And on this side, I'll make it green. And just change this to unlock. There we go. Just type it in. Just scale this down. Look at it from above. Unlock. There we go. It's not perfect, but yeah, Maybe you want to add some wear in there if you want. Entirely up to you. You can add a smart mask in that. And then play around with this levels or contrast. Does anything happen? There we go. I can see something. Something's happening. Very hard to see. Maybe that's not the best one. Let's get a different one. Do. So let's try this rust surface. There we go. We can play around with that. That's okay. That looks alright. Maybe you want that a bit more visible, but there we go. So I can see that a bit better. But there we go. We have a toggle switch kind of ready to go. So let's export this out. File, export textures. Now this is the problem because I called it silver 2, silver. Oh, it should be alright, but not the best naming convention. But you don't need to follow that. But just Anyway, I'm gonna go Blender in here, and then in my toggle folder, I want to point to where I want these textures to go. Okay, let's go down here, and now I want to go put this back into Blender before I export this out again. So the output workflow will be for Blender. It just makes your life easier later. But I'm gonna choose Blender. Okay, and I'll hit export. Let that do its thing. Let's hop back into Blender. There we go. Now what we're going to do is apply these textures. Now because we have the node wrangler, it kind of makes our life so much easier. So let's do a vertical split here. This will be our shader window. Okay, so as you click on each shader, you can see here you'll get this material. So let's start with the toggle, okay? And you'll see. So if I just uncheck that, so you can see it a bit easier. But if I hit Control Shift T, and then I go to toggle. So we're going to look for the toggle texture. So we want anything that says toggle. Boom, boom. Done. Automatically applies. There we go. I'm going to repeat this again. So this is silver 4. Control Shift T. Look for silver 4. Silver 4. Boom. This is silver 3. Control Shift T. Silver 3. Silver 3. Boom. This is silver 2. Control Shift T. Silver 2. Normally, if I was doing this like for real, I'd make sure I named all my objects, materials correctly. It wouldn't be called silver 1, silver 2, silver 3. So be aware of that, And then I've got gold. Control Shift T. Oh, Control Shift T. Gold. Well, you can see it's straightforward anyway. All the materials are applied as they should, which is perfect. We can change the environment lighting. You can see our materials are working as they should. Anyway, so we just need this copper and the plastic. So let's start with the copper. Control Shift T. Copper. And then our plastic material here. Control Shift T. That was called material. That one got even worse. I didn't even give that a name. I just material. There we go. So there we go. Actually, what I'll do, yeah, that's fine. So now what I'll do is just merge these objects together. Boom, 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 boom. Join. That looks fine. And we've got this. So this is going to be our toggle switch, which will animate and make interactive. 0. I'm just going to hit Control A, apply all transformations. This I'll leave as it is. File, export, GLTF. This will be called toggle. I'm going to close this down. You can close substance down. You can save it if you want. Then I open up Ventuz Designer. Okay, give this a second. Hopefully stream's not struggling. Experimental, I'll go to my experimental folder, and from my toggle folder here, I've got this GLTF file. I can just drag and drop this in, and you can see our mesh with all the materials applied, ready to, we can use and interact with, which is fantastic. So let's delete this importer node in the front. Let's add some lighting so we can see the model a little bit better. So we're going to go to color material. We're going to use the PBR skybox. Now you can choose which one you want. You got studio, noon, or thing. So I'm going to just use the skybox studio. Place this right at the front of my scene. Boom. Now you can see the model nicely. So first thing we can do is let's make this. We can already make this interactive like in 2 seconds. So let's make this so we can orbit the model. Really straightforward. So we're just going to go to interaction. Boom. Touch orbit. Place it in front of our axis here. Now we can orbit this model. Look at it, in all its glory. It's not the best model, but you can see it working and functioning. Cool. Now you can, of course, if you don't want this, the PBR Studio background visible, you can turn that off. You can also load your own HDRs in here as well, so you don't. But by default, Ventuz give you like a couple in here to use. You can change that rotation, so you can rotate this as well to your liking. Okay. So now we've already made this interactive. It's an interactive object. But we want this, when we click this toggle switch, we want this to switch. Okay, so we want this to animate. So we got here the toggle, and we know this rotation. So we don't want to rotate on the Z here. We want to rotate on this X. Pretty straightforward. And so we're going to go from here to here. Okay, so we're just going to go to our toolbox. We're going to get a keyframe animation. We're going to say this axis on the X, and we want to keyframe this. Okay? So we're going to drag this to our animation node. Go to our timeline. I'm going to switch to seconds. I like to work in seconds. Okay, so I'm going to say, well, this is unlocked here. And set a key. Let's just say 30. I'll set it to 30. Set a key. And just say half a second. It'll be at minus 31. Minus 30, sorry. There we go. So we've got 30. Tick, 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 tick. Now we got that animation. Let's add some states. So I'm going to S1, S2. So we've got states. So now you can use these to control next and previous. Let's go to our states here. I'll make it like one click. So you can just do one click to toggle. So we're going to take the next here and we're going to just replace that previous. Now if we just only click the next, now we're just toggling. Really straightforward. Alright, so we've done the animation. Now if you want to add some, maybe you want to add, you can tweak the keyframes here if you want. So if you want to add some weight to this, you can change that. Or you can add, if I hit spacebar and say something like an oscillate. Maybe you don't want that, but you can see it's a bit too much, but you get the idea. You can add some damping in that, like something like 12. And just adds that, extra bit of, detail to the animation. Rather than just being a linear animation, you can use these fancy nodes. You'll find all these nodes here in the logic under the maths effects, and you've got all these kind of cool nodes you can use. Anyway, let's add a touch button to this. So I'm going to the interaction tab. Okay, and we're going to use touch button, and we want to apply it to this toggles mesh here. Okay. So now when I click this, you can see I'm getting this single tap, boom, 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 and touch press. So we're going to just use single tap for now. It doesn't matter. And what I'm going to do is drag this next to there and say single tap. So now when I tap it, boom, boom, and I can still move this around, interact with our model. So we've gone through, we've modeled the object, we've textured it, we've brought it into Ventuz. Now we've made it interactive, so you've got interactive model. You know, now you can make all these kind of switches. Now you could have these if you want to switch these to control certain things. So let's say we want this to control another animation. You could do that, or turn off an object on and off. You can do that too. So what's the easiest way? Easiest way I can show you to do something. Let's say let's get a point light. Let's use a point light. We'll use a PBR point light. Okay, and we'll drop this in. Now this point light, you can't see where it is. So to turn it on, turn this little cone, you can see where it is in the world. Now, position it. So I'll just put it over here to the right. And then I'll increase this gain. So you can see there's a light here. I don't know, why is the light appearing on one side of them when it's over here? It's like it's almost inverted. That's a bit weird. Okay. I don't know about that, but yeah, you can see there's the light anyway. So the light's here. That is weird. Because just because I rotate it, oh, the light's not the. Eh? Anyway, maybe not. Let's use something else, not the light. The light making it too over. Let's add the light though, a directional light in here anyway, and let's just set shadow map. I'll set this to 4K and then rotate the light around. Like so. But that was weird behavior there, because you can see now we've got shadows from on our model and it's casting shadow. Boop, boop. Anyway, and also you can turn the engine, turn this to high dynamic range, and you can play around with the exposure and all sorts. Play around with the tonal mapping. Anyway, what was I going to say? So now we have this model and it's interactive. I was going to say control a light, but instead let's toggle the size of an object, for example. So let's get a sphere. Okay, we've got this sphere, and I'm going to put this mesh over the sphere, and I'll move this over here to the right. So let's say we want it to get big and small as we toggle. Okay, so it goes up and down. Alright. Now you can link this. There's two ways to do this. You can have it in the animation. So you could say, well, we can just keyframe this, right? And if I go into my timeline here, when it's unlocked, it's big. When it's locked, it's small. So now when I toggle, it's part of that same animation. Now, oh yeah, you might notice if I have a slight movement with the interaction on the using this touch button. This is another thing I have a problem with single tap. Is single tap doesn't always pick up. If you move the mouse just a little bit, it doesn't pick up. That's why normally I tend to use the touch press. So, I mean, if you want it something more reliable, use an event node. Just disconnect this for now, and take the shot and use the touch press. So every time you press it now, that's always guaranteed to fire. And whether the mouse is slightly moving, it will always fire that event. So it's just more accurate using the touch press. And now I can't mess up and click off of it. So there we go. And then you can still move this around. There you go. So that's one way of doing it. So you can link the animation inside. Or the other way is if it has its own animation, you can still link it to this event, for example. So you could make this could have its own animation, completely different. Let's move this up and let's say, actually, let's put on a mover. Well, no, actually, nah. Let's do animation. I'm just jumping between things. Let's keep it simple. So got this next. Okay, I'm gonna say it's here, and then let's go let's say a second, and it goes over here. All right. And then we're going to just switch between, and of course you can have states, so you can set the states S1 to S2, and we can also set the same states the next and next. And then all I can do is to, just call this ball, and then I can link these two to the same. So next, boop. So now I'm controlling two separate animations. So it's up to you how you do this. There's all kinds of ways you can control objects. I mean, this doesn't have to be an animation either. This could be a linear node, and then if I gave it the value, so if I said, well, the value is from 16 to 16, so minus 16 to 16, and link this x value, it could be every time I toggle, I can send a boolean. You don't have to use an animation, but yeah, and then you could link that boolean to this click if you wanted. There's so many ways of doing it, but yeah, hopefully that was useful. Like I said, there's different ways of doing stuff, so many ways actually, but you can see we've created this. I can move this over here. There we go. So now I can, we're controlling another object. So we've got interactive toggle. Of course, you can link this to a light, or trigger a video, whatever you want. Yeah, have fun. Hopefully it's useful. Enjoy the rest of your day, morning, night, and thank you again. Bye bye. Diddly doot. You can close this too. And don't forget to save your work. I didn't save this, you may have noticed. Save your work. Bye bye.